Hey guys, Tucker here. Today I wanted to talk about the interview tapes and the Chronicles in Batman Arkham Asylum. Also, if you see, that I'm not uploading as often, I do have school, so that's why. Anyways, thank you guys for the massive support. Anyways, let's just begin. Joker interview, tape 1, June 16th. In this tape, Dr. Young and Warden Sharp interview Joker. Dr. Young discusses to Joker that she is going to cure him.
You think you can cure me?
Oh, I know I can.
She also pulls up Joker's record, showing that he's been diagnosed with many things.
Be quiet, clown.
Every doctor that has ever interviewed you claims a different type of psychosis. Everything from multiple personality disorders to, well, the list is endless.
Now, what I think this is implying to the Killing Joke, where the Joker says that he'd rather have his origin story be multiple choice. Joker interview tape 17, July 27th. This tape doesn't discuss a lot, but it also references the Dr. Quinzel incident where she becomes Dr. Quinzel and Harley Quinn. And Dr. Young also wants to talk about Joker's childhood. However, he does not want to talk about it at all and leaves her a death threat.
What are you hiding?
Didn't you hear me? You scratched my back, Doc, and, well, I won't have you wrapped in plastic and left in a gutter.
It doesn't offer much, but the fact that we know this definitely takes place after the Dr. Quinzel incident. But yeah, Joker interview tape 20, August 1st. This tape, in the beginning, is talking about the prototype Titan formula that Dr. Young is working on, and she also believes that Joker is going to be the perfect subject for this formula.
Tape patient interview 20. Joker is more interesting than I originally believed. When Project Titan is operational, I believe Joker will be the perfect test subject.
She also wants to delve more into Joker's past. However, he lies, but of course Dr. Young sees past that lie, and she tells him that she wants to help him out.
Yes, scared. There's obviously something that made you what you are.
What if I'm too scared to remember? It hurts too much.
Then I can help you.
This tape doesn't offer a lot, but that Titan bit, I think it allures more to the Killing Joke comment, of course, with the multiple choice. Joker case study notes, December 22nd. It starts off with her talking about Titan and how it's ready to be tested. She's also grateful for the donations by an anonymous user named Jack White. And she's also saying that Joker is interested in a cure, and then she starts to ramble about the Titan formula before she's interrupted.
Joker has also shown a remarkable interest in the possibility of a cure. Once the protein bonding process is finalized, I will...
Dr. Young, you ready?
Oh, yes, come in.
When Joker comes in, he wants to talk about Patient X, who I believe is the subject and prototype Titan we fight later in the game. However, Dr. Young does not want to discuss about that. But then Joker reveals the name of the project. The Titan Project, of course. And he also talks about how he saw Bane on a table with him being pumped dry.
No, let's talk more about your Titan project.
My what? How do
I know you have Bane strapped to a table in the basement while you pump him dry? Would you believe a lucky guess?
It doesn't reveal much that we already know, such as Jack White being Joker, and of course, Dr. Young was the one who drained Bane of his venom for the Titan formula. I do believe who Patient X is that prototype Titan that we fight later in the game. Joker case study notes, December 23rd finale. The final case study shows Dr. Young realizing that Joker was behind the strings of everything. That he was Jack White, funding the whole operation, and pulling the strings and everything. She wants out of this project. She even tries sending the money back.
I'm not doing it, Joker. Do you hear me?
And then she realizes that Joker has escaped Arkham Island and is on the loose. Joker also wants his monsters back desperately. Sad that Dr. Young wasn't able to keep that formula away from Joker, and that she ended up later dying. Waylon Jones, Tape 1, February 12th. This tape is rather really simple. It just has Cash and Quincy Sharp antagonizing Croc and just treating him like an animal rather than human. The main doctor that's going to be interviewing him is Gretchen Whistler.
Is he here yet? You're kidding me, right? That thing's not a man. My God!
Kinda sad that only Batman sees him as human. Waylon Jones, Tape 2, February 17th. This tape doesn't have a lot, but it has Croc questioning whether there is a cure for him to make him normal. But we all know that there sadly isn't.
We're here to help you, Mr. Jones.
You got a cure for me then, Doc? Can you make me normal?
Normal is a poor choice of words. No one's really normal, are they?
Figured as much.
He then also threatens the doctor, who actually stands her ground.
How about this, Doc? You let me go now, and I won't eat you.
You don't really eat people. It's just an urban myth.
Oh, you think? Keep believing that, Doc.
Waylon Jones, Tape 5, February 25th. The tape begins with Cash and Croc bantering before Croc then gets shocked by his collar that he's just been added onto him after he hospitalized 3 guards. He also then sends a death threat to Batman, Cash, and the Doctor.
I'm happy to wait here. Wait for the bat. He'll be back, and I'll kill him. Then Cash. Then you.
In your dream. Now get him. Now.
Waylon Jones, Tape 6, February 26th. Dr. Gretchen questions Croc about the house incident. Croc doesn't respond with much, but then she reveals a much darker story. It's pretty messed up.
Just business.
Business? What kind of business practices result in a house full of mutilated corpses?
I don't like having my time wasted. Someone doesn't pay. They need a lesson. They owed me.
So you killed them, tore up their bodies. The police never found all the pieces.
They should have looked in the sewers.
Are you saying you hid them there?
After a while. Usually takes about 8 hours.
Waylon Jones, Tape 7, February 29th, finale. The tape opens up with Dr. Gretchen reporting about what happened to Aaron Cash. His hand got bit off by Croc, and then Croc makes a pretty dark statement.
Guard Aaron Cash is in hospital. Reports state that the patient attacked Cash, and in the struggle consumed his left hand. Cash is lucky to be alive. He lost a lot of blood.
Me too. I nearly choked on that bony hand of his.
That's disgusting. He could have died.
He's just food to me. And once I get a taste, I want the rest of the meal. You know what I mean.
Get him out of here. Now.
Got yours set too, lady. I'll see you around. Tick tock, tick tock.
Waylon's tape don't offer a lot of character besides the explanation that Cash is missing hand, a shot collar, but we pretty much already knew that. It does offer how much of a dark character he really is, but also how much he's mistreated. Harleen Quinzel, Employee Orientation, March 3rd. This tape has Harleen interviewing to be an intern at Arkham. She's rather excited to be interviewing these patients, however, Dr. Gretchen says otherwise and warns Harleen that these are hardcore psychopaths and want to kill her. But Harleen states that she is gonna be fine.
I warn you right now, these are hardcore psychotics. Most would rather kill you than speak to you.
I'm sure I'll be fine, Doctor.
They'll eat you for breakfast. I mean it. One or two of them will enjoy it too. Be careful.
Dr. Quinzel, Tape 1, March 3rd. She ended up getting the job, and the first person she's interviewing is the Joker. And the manipulation is clear. Joker's already manipulating her, and she's just falling for it.
Oh, you already have. Tell me, why do you do the things you do?
Why do you think I do it?
Fame, notoriety, a desire to stand out from the crowd, a wicked sense of humor.
You're good. How did you figure me out, Doc? I've had doctors poking around in here for years, and no one was as astute, and if you don't mind my saying, beautiful as you.
Really? Ah, you're just playing with me.
Well, you'll never know, will you? Unless...
Unless what? Tell me.
Dr. Quinzel, Tape 2, March 4th. Dr. Quinzel finds flowers on her desk that were given by the Joker. And there's not much else to explain because it's just Joker manipulating her again.
Oh, if you really were going to tell, you already would have.
How do you know I haven't already?
Sweet. I like you. I really do. Even your name. Rework it a bit and we get...
Harley Quinn, like the clown. I know, I've heard it before.
It's a name that puts a smile on my face. It makes me think there's someone here I can relate to. Someone who might like to hear my secrets.
Really? Go on.
Not here, my dear. Too many ears and eyes. Come back tonight. I'll be ready for you.
Dr. Quinzel, Tape 2, March 4th. This tape has Joker just twisting her mind and making her believe that Batman is a really bad guy. And she buys into it and believes that Joker is the true savior. It's just more manipulation.
But Batman, he's got them all fooled. He's made them think he can make a difference, that he can actually make things better. And the joke of it is, they all believe it.
The police?
The police, the media, the frickin' Junior Rangers. Every last sack of walking meat in this urban cesspool. Listen, sweets. Batman knows we're all on the same funhouse slide into madness. Why won't he admit it? He's up there in his belfry laughing at us. And the real gag is the miserable liar is allowed to run free while I'm in here.
That's really incisive.
Then you understand, don't you? You know why I do what I have to do. You know Gotham's only real savior is me.
Harley Quinn, Tape 11, April 1st. Harley has fully been manipulated by the Joker. She smuggled something in for him and now wants to kill the Bat.
You ready to stop that evil, murdering Bat once and for all?
Of course I am. He needs to pay for what he's done to you.
Give it here then, quickly. Come on, Doc. We've got ourselves a bat to kill.
Doc's outputting. Say hello to your new and improved Harley Quinn.
These are probably some of my favorite tapes. This tape shows how much Joker can manipulate somebody and Harley Quinn's origin story. Now I do know that in Arkham Origins it does contradict the tapes, and I'm not sure what is canon and what is not. Edward Nygma, Tape 21, May 27th. The tape has Dr. Young back, and she asks him about the riddles that he's been drawing on the walls. And then he gives her a riddle.
What is it that walks on 4 legs, then 2 legs, and finally 3 legs?
A human being. As a baby, it crawls on 4 legs. As an adult, it walks on 2. And in later years, it uses a cane.
Good try. But the answer to all 3 is a baby. True, it crawls on all 4s, but cut off its legs and it can only wiggle on 2 limbs. Give it a crutch, it can hobble around on 3. You see?
It's horrible. How can you even joke about that?
Easily, Doctor. It's not my baby.
Edward Nygma, tape 39, July 29th. The tape begins with Dr. Young questioning if Mr. Nygma is going to be suitable for the Titan process. However, we do know that he's not later in the game. She then questions him about his childhood, and it's quite sad. He was raised in an abusive home, and his father beat him a lot and called him a moron. He one day entered a contest solving an impossible logical problem, and he surprisingly won. He told his father, but his father called him a cheat and beat him more and called him a moron. However, Nygma is not innocent either, as he actually did cheat in the competition. I believe he did this because he has a mental disorder, that being obsessive-compulsive disorder, where he has to challenge everybody that calls him a moron. It's also nice to note that they bring this up in Arkham Knight.
Die, father! I mean, Batman!
Edward Nygma, tape 44, August 21st. This tape has Dr. Young being irritated by Riddler. She then questions him about his death traps, and Riddler replies that if Gotham were smarter, it would be entertainment. He even goes as far to state that the useless and the stupid should be killed off. Edward then finds a picture of Dr. Young's family, which leads him to get kicked out.
What a lovely photo on your desk, Doctor. Your family. Mother, perhaps.
Put that down! Get out! Guard!
Edward Nygma, tape 55, October 4th. This tape is probably my favorite tape out of the Arkham games. Dr. Young questions Edward why he has this obsessive nature with Batman, and Edward responds with Batman is a bad guy, and his points are pretty valid because no one knows that he's actually Bruce Wayne.
He's a criminal. No different than Joker and Two-Face. Or myself.
Most people consider him a hero.
Most people are idiots. They can't see Batman for the villain he is. Riddle me this. How did he get his car and his gadgets?
I don't...
With money stolen from the criminals he defeats. Why does Gordon turn a blind eye to his antics? Batman bribes him. The answers are right in front of your stupid, gawking face.
Edward, please, calm down.
Wake up, Gotham!
Edward Nygma, tape 76, January 16th, finale. This is the last interview that Dr. Young wants to do with Edward because of the temper tantrums that he's been doing. But this time, Edward's in a strange, good mood. He then explains why he's in this good mood, because he's ready to get released. However, his parole isn't until a couple of years. He then mentions the Joker's name, who had just escaped a couple of weeks prior, looking at the dates of the tape. Dr. Young asks him, what about Joker, what of his plans? But Riddler doesn't say anything about them.
Seriously, Edward.
I only hope Joker hasn't completely trashed the city. Oh well, I'm sure I'll find out soon enough.
Wait, have you been in contact with the Joker? He escaped Arkham weeks ago.
And yet, one hears things.
What things? What have you heard?
Oh, something about a surprise party for Batman. I forget the rest. You know Joker. Yeah.
Edward, if you know anything, you've got to tell me. Lives could be at stake. What did Joker say?
You forget, Doctor. I'm the one who asks the riddles.
Probably a hot take, but Riddler is probably one of my favorite characters out of Batman's rogues galleries. He's my favorite villain out of any villain. And his tapes are very interesting, giving so much character. But anyways, let's just move on. Victor Zsasz, tape 1, November 4th. This tape has Dr. Cassidy interviewing Victor Zsasz. She talks about how he killed over 20 women in the past 3 months. She then wants to get to know Zsasz, however, he just says that it's all meaningless. She then asks about his childhood and his past life, and once again he says it's meaningless. He then says something rather disturbing.
Yes, I have. It says you come from a wealthy family, that your parents died, and how you lost all the money gambling.
And none of it
matters.
Why do you keep saying that, Victor?
Because the only thing that does matter is the mark. Have you seen my work, Miss Cassidy?
If you're referring to the marks on your...
Of course I mean my tally marks. And I have a space for yours. Do you want to see where?
Interesting that they bring up the gambling thing in City. Victor Zsasz, Tape 5, November 19th. In this tape, Dr. Cassidy reports that Zsasz is not responding well to his treatment. She also asks why he refers to people as zombies, and he explains that people are doing the same routine every day of their lives, waiting for something to happen. And then he claims to be the salvation that people need. Here's a disturbing clip that he says.
Continuously shuffling through the daily grind, waiting for someone to liberate them.
You mean kill them? The police report states that you've murdered, or liberated, if you like, 20 young women in the last 3 months. Each had her throat slit and was left posed.
They were all lucky to be chosen to receive my gift.
I doubt they would agree with you.
Really? How about you, Miss Cassidy? As you take the elevator to your apartment each night, open the 6 locks to apartment 433. Remember you forgot to buy your cat food. Again?
How do you know
As
where
you sit down on your favorite red chair, cat on lap, just waiting for something to happen. I can make it happen, Sarah. I am your salvation.
Victor Zsasz, Tape 1, November 22nd. Dr. Gretchen has taken over the interviews ever since the new house incident. She questions how Zsasz is feeling, and he responds that he's depressed because he let somebody get away and he could not get his mark.
Depressed? Does that help you? Can you get into my mind, Doctor?
Why depressed?
I'm just thinking about the one that got away. The one I chose. I needed the mark. I want the mark!
Now I believe that Dr. Cassidy is the person that he wants to kill. Victor Zsasz, Tape 5, December 12th. Dr. Gretchen reports that Zsasz is not taking well to the medicine again. She tries asking him a couple of questions, but Zsasz keeps murmuring about something cutting. Here's the clip.
Is there anything you'd like to talk about today? Victor! This is going nowhere. God! Get him out of here!
You heard the doctor. Get out. Didn't you hear me?
He's got a knife! Ah! Get a trike in him! Get a trike in him! Oh, God! He's on Bill! He's cutting him! Get him off! Get him off! We need help here!
Victor Zsasz, Case Study Notes, December 22nd, finale. In this tape, Dr. Gretchen reports that she's afraid that Zsasz cannot be cured at all. But then a guard rushes into the room asking if she's alright, because Zsasz had just escaped isolation, and he's off the island, thankfully. But Dr. Gretchen panics because he's after Dr. Cassidy because he needs that mark. So she calls her.
He'll need to kill again. Do you understand me? Needs to. Oh no. He's gone after Dr. Cassidy.
Hello?
Sarah, it's Gretchen. Listen to me.
Hold on, there's someone at the door.
Sarah, do not answer the door. Can you hear me? Do not answer the door. It's Zsasz. He's free.
We do know that she does end up living after the event due to the Arkham games. And yes, I am aware of the comic, but I'm pretty sure the comic messes everything up. Pamela Isley, Tape 41, November 12th. Dr. Stephen Kellerman will be interviewing Pamela. Anyway, she talks about that today is the anniversary of the day where she became her alias Poison Ivy, the incident with Dr. Woodruff. She at first hated that, but over time she thanks Jason Woodruff for showing her a bigger world. However, she is a bit upset that Gotham rejected this.
Yes. What else? Of course, at the time, I thought Jason had poisoned me. But in retrospect, he did me a huge favor.
And why do you believe what he did has helped you?
He showed me the bigger world. A world I should protect. Of course, my first offer was rejected.
Offer? You tried to kill everyone in Gotham.
Well, sometimes you need to prune back hard in order to make something flourish.
Pamela Isley, tape 42, November 14th. Dr. Kellerman questions her again why she thinks she was offering Gotham a better world even though she knows she was killing people. She says that people are arrogant and greedy and don't care about plants. And then she tries using her seductive abilities on him.
I'm not interested in bodies, Doctor. Horrible fleshy sacks walking around destroying my poor babies with their greed and arrogance.
But aren't you one of those fleshy sacks? Were a doctor too. How can you turn your back on us?
Quite easily as it happens. But not you, Stephen. You're different. I feel we have a connection.
Really? You do?
Of course.
Pamela Isley, tape 43, November 15th. Dr. Kellerman has fallen in love with Ivy and has started smuggling stuff in for her. At first he refuses to give her a plant, but ends up complying, and she should not be around any plants as she'll just take control of the island. Anyways, just listen to the clip.
You wouldn't want me to be lonely, would you?
No, of course not. You keep it. Just don't let anyone see. Really, no one.
You can trust me, Stephen. Thank you. Now give me a kiss.
I can't. People will see.
No one's watching. What's wrong with you? Don't you love me? Call me Ivy.
Of course I love you.
Pamela Isley, interrogation 1, November 17th. Pamela and Dr. Kellerman left the cells at that night, and Quincy Sharp is demanding to know where Dr. Kellerman is because he's not back. He also talks about how Ivy escaped and she covered the cameras, and there's not much about this clip, but much it.
They're covered by leaves and flowers and we're here. Now tell me what it is.
I'm not saying a word unless you do exactly what I tell you to do.
Pamela Isley, interrogation 3, November 18th, finale. They thankfully found Dr. Kellerman, but he's not gonna be back for a couple of days. And anyways, Quincy Sharp and Ivy have a conversation about plants and people. Ivy hates people and hates plants, yada yada.
People ignore what is happening in front of your eyes.
I refuse to put the welfare of plants before the welfare of people.
And that is why you will lose. There's more happening than you know, Warden. It's all connected.
These are probably my least favorite tapes because they don't bring much of the character. We already know that Ivy cares about plants and plants only, so it's just not really interesting to listen to this. Jonathan Crane, tape 1, January 7th. This tape actually starts off with Jonathan Crane starting because he actually, took over the session from Dr. Combe. He reports an incident a while back with Dr. Murphy, and he responds with how Combe is responding to the fear toxin. Apparently he's thinking of the loss of his wife and his children. But then the guards come in and help.
Continued observation shows little mental activity. It's as if the shock of what he saw triggered his mental collapse.
There's someone in here!
It's him. We found him.
Break down the door!
Note to self, as ever, it is difficult to continue my research under such conditions.
Step away from Dr. Combs!
Now.
Get down on the ground!
We found them. Someone get a medic. Oh, God, what's he done to him?
Jonathan Crane, tape 6, January 22nd. I believe the doctor is Dr. Kellerman once again. He questions Crane what he gained from this and also reports about the Dr. Murphy incident.
Let's talk about the events 3 weeks ago. What did you think you'd achieve? Dr. Murphy is still in therapy.
I wanted to understand him, his personal demons, his fears. It's all quite fascinating, really.
But you were a respected doctor. A brilliant mind. Now just another resident in Arkham.
Can I have a drink? A strong one? This kind of question bores me.
I'm afraid not.
Interesting choice of words, Doctor. Tell me, what are you afraid of?
Jonathan Crane, Tape 9, January 29th. Dr. Kellerman reports that Crane keeps avoiding the questions and keeps trying to take control. He's also worried that Crane is just straight up evil and he's not insane. But anyways, he questions Crane with his fear obsession and why he has it. And Crane says that every decision you make and every action you do is driven by fear. It's pretty interesting.
Your life is governed by fear. Every decision you make is a product of that fear.
Don't be ridiculous.
You married your wife, Margaret, isn't it? Because you were scared of dying alone. You have children because you're scared of leaving nothing behind that really matters. You go to the doctors because you're scared of dying. Do I need to go on?
No. I think that will be all for today. Guards?
Jonathan Crane, Tape 12, February 14th. In this tape, Dr. Kellerman admits that Crane is actually starting to get in him. Anyways, he tries asking Crane a question, but once again, Crane tries taking over this section. And then he gasses the doctor and the guard nearby.
Are you okay, Doc?
I think... Yes,
Oh, he's fine. Just questioning his grip on reality. You should be doing the same any second.
Huh? Is that you? Wait, what are you doing? Get off of me. Help! I need help here! I can't breathe!
Like I said, you're all part of my experiment now.
Jonathan Crane, Asylum Interview 1, February 14th. Yes, the same day. Anyways, after he gasses the doctors, he once again takes control of the session. He then reports that he has enough toxin to break 100 minds, and that he's put it in the medical building. But before he can do anything else, Batman breaks in to stop him. He gives an antidote to Cash to put in the medical building, and Batman is unaffected. And soon the doctors are, because Batman's been working with Dr. Kellerman to work on a formula. And then he talks down on him.
You failed, Crane. Again. I've been working with Dr. Kellerman creating an antidote to the toxins in your cologne. He fooled you, Crane. How does that make you feel? Threatened? Humiliated? Scared?
These tapes are pretty interesting because they're the only one to have Batman in them. Anyways, it shows how Crane can really break a mind, such as Dr. Murphy and Dr. Combe. It doesn't add a lot of story-wise, but anyways, let's move on to the Spirit of Arkham. Quick break. If you're enjoying the content so far, please subscribe, like the video, and comment. Also, you might want to consider turning on notifications as I've started streaming at least once per week, that either being on Saturday or Sunday. I hope to see you there. Anyways, let's get back to the video. Spirit of Arkham deciphers 1 through 6. I'm just going to play the entire row because these are very short, and then I'm just going to give a quick explanation at the end.
I am the spirit of Amadeus Arkham. Through my actions, I have saved this cursed city, though my own curse is to forever remain in the shadows. My story is carved into the very soul of Arkham, and will only be revealed to those dedicated enough to discover it. My family's blood ran through the heart of Gotham. We were doctors, politicians, and teachers. We have been the organ cleaning the arterial filth from the city. We have been its servants, giving all to protect it. And still it has chosen to hurt us. As Gotham's veins slowly filled with pain and suffering, the effects were felt everywhere. My father fell first, infected by some foul disease. My mother lived on, but only in a dream. I returned to the family home to care for her, where she remained in her bed for as long as her body continued to breathe. Her tears kept me awake at night. My journey lasted little over a month. Visiting academics in both Metropolis and Keystone, I was exposed to a wealth of new ideas. I began my day returning home in good spirits, eager to see my wife and family. I ended it kneeling in their blood, broken fragments of my life, pouring through dripping red fingers. I returned to my work, but I could not shake the pictures from my mind. I should have been repulsed, but I was more eager than ever to find an explanation for why someone would do this. They brought the animal before me, shameless and barking like a mad dog. For what felt like days, I endured his boasts. He took pleasure recounting his actions, cataloging his depraved crimes. What should have been revenge turned to pity. This poor dog needed my help.
That was pretty confusing, so just strap in because this is gonna get really confusing. Anyways, Amadeus Arkham is actually the person who formed Arkham Asylum, and I believe that Sharp is actually retelling Amadeus' story because he believes he's possessed by the spirit of Arkham, that being Amadeus Arkham. In Decipher 3, Sharp talks about how he lost his father and his mother, just the same way as Amadeus does. Amadeus watched her mother every day on her deathbed, dying to dementia slowly, and it's actually what led him to open Arkham Asylum, and he actually named it after her, Elizabeth Arkham Asylum. His father did die to some undisclosed disease, but I believe that's what it's supposed to be about. Now, I'm not sure if this is correct, but for Decipher 2, Sharp says that his family was protecting Gotham and helping it in many ways, but Gotham hurt him. I believe what this is supposed to mean is Amadeus opening Arkham Asylum, in that hurting him. You'll see later. For Decipher 4, Sharp talks about him going to Metropolis and Keystone and going back to his wife and family. He actually did have a wife in the Wiki named Constance and a daughter named Harriet. And this was the time when he was studying for psychiatric. He would go to Metropolis State Psychiatric Hospital and study, and he would go home to see his mother on his deathbed, eventually kneeling in his mother's blood. Now, for Deciphers 5 and 6, 6 talks about how Amadeus, his first patient, was Mad Dog, who would boast about his murders often. And in Decipher 5, Sharp says that he has an image burnt in his head. Now, Amadeus worked on Mad Dog with electroshock therapy, and that actually made him go crazy and insane, burning an image in his mind. So I think we have the first row of deciphers figured out. Let's move on to the second. Deciphers 7 through 12.
The island changed little over the years. Its reputation was in tatters, but I vowed to fix it. As the buildings were rebuilt, I saw the future. A bright, wonderful future. New brick, metal and paint covered old wounds. Fresh blood was injected into the body. Bright new minds came, and all swore to uphold our promises. We all knew we were the ones to fix this city, and the city would thank us. My family's killer stood in front of me. Years of therapy have deemed him sane. I was proud to see him walk free. In exchange for his liberty, the state required only a signature. He talked about wanting to walk in a park, how he longed to feel fresh air on his face. And then he took my father's fountain pen and killed my secretary. As he was subdued, he screamed out, pleading for forgiveness, for pity. But I had none. I watched as guards beat him to a stain on the floor. Spring was a turning point, a new beginning, a glorious realization of my true destiny. My family's killer perished in an unfortunate accident. These animals cannot be cured. Like dogs, they only respond to discipline. And if that fails, then I was afraid that these accidents would have to continue. I took a walk around my island. I passed by the penitentiary and felt nauseous at the thought of the filth it contained. I looked out over the Gotham Bay, and in the distance I saw lights. No doubt boats bringing more filthy degenerates to my city. I swore again to protect her from this darkness. I argued with the latest group of young, eager doctors. They bored me with theories and ideas, proving that they had no theories on how to cure these animals. Only one shared my vision. I offered her the chance to explore her dreams. She accepted. We'll make a good team.
Okay, here we go again. I forgot to mention, but Amadeus Arkham, after treating his patient, Mad Dog, he actually went insane from that and actually ended up becoming a patient at his own asylum. Anyways, moving forward, in Decipher 7, it's pretty straightforward. Sharp sees a great future and wants to revamp Arkham Island. And in Decipher 8, we get a quote that's pretty interesting. It's the same that he wants to, cover up the past with new paint and stuff, and by revamping it. But he says a line that is pretty interesting. It's pumping new blood into the body. Now, I think the body is mainly just referencing Arkham Asylum, and pumping new blood into it is, well, revamping it. Decipher 9 is pretty interesting. This changes Sharp's views in a whole lot of different ways. He's proud that after years of therapy, he's actually able to release somebody that is now claiming to be sane. But then that same guy decides to kill a secretary, and Sharp watches as the guy pleads for forgiveness and gets beaten by the guards. He then takes a walk around the island and sees a couple of boats bringing more quote-unquote degenerates in, and he vows to protect her. Who is her? Well, I believe this is referencing Elizabeth Arkham, or Arkham Asylum. Both are pretty much the same. And I think he wants to protect Arkham Asylum from these degenerates and stains. He then has a conversation with a couple of doctors for theories on how to get people sane again. And he's pretty bored because these theories just don't make sense to him. There's only one doctor that shares the same theory with him. Sharp wants to kill these people now. He wants these accidents to happen. He doesn't believe people can be cured, only punished. Now, I'm not sure who this doctor could be, because it doesn't fit the role of Cassidy, Young, or Gretchen, or even Quinzel. So, I have no idea, but I'm sure we'll figure out as we go deeper in. Deciphers 13 through 18.
The Gotham police dragged a new patient to the island. They said he was responsible for the disappearance of hundreds of the city's vagrants. As I looked at his disgusting body, all scales and teeth, my mind ran free, dreaming of delicious punishments to break this monster. Doctors gathered around, poking it, examining. But only I knew what would cure him, once and for all. The beast was too strong. His animal savagery nearly cost me my life. I took my frustrations out on a lone patient. His case notes suggested he was a paranoid schizophrenic. His pleas, as I beat him to death, suggested much more. His confessions were illuminating. My path was clear. Every day I found the patients more distracting. Their insane mutterings and constant twitching disgusted me. There was only one way to cure this evil. Only one way to purify the city and ensure its future. I needed to prepare myself. I needed to be ready. I had a sudden pang of conscience. I sought counsel from my priest on the choices I had made. I asked him if it was a sin to kill in order to save a life. The holy man said all life was sacred, but a judgment would not be upon my soul if I acted to save another. I left the confessional with my soul uplifted, convinced more than ever I am doing a service not only to mankind, but to God as well. I watched in silence as he brought in the woman. Her skin now a venomous green. The wanton creature no longer looked like a human being, much less a woman. The Bible says, "Suffer not a witch to live." Yet he has once again delivered this female atrocity to our care. Once I have dealt with the monster, I think it will be time to see if green wood does, in fact, burn. Sitting in the darkness outside of his cell, I watched the crazed twitching, listened to the disgusting words that came from his mouth. How can I let a dirty animal like this live? He is the cancer I have sworn to protect the city from.
Okay, this row is very confusing, so let's try to explain it the best I can. Decipher 13 and 14, Croc is brought into the asylum, and this is definitely the present. That basically just confirms it. Anyways, Sharp is mortified by Croc's appearance. He's very judgmental about it. And he thinks of ways to punish him and quote-unquote cure him, which I believe means kill him. Anyways, Croc lashes out onto him, causing him to leave and take his anger out on a lone inmate. This inmate is a schizophrenic patient and has no family, no friends, so if he dies, no one's gonna care for him. So Sharp did this accident and watched as he pled for mercy and beat him to death, and nobody cared. In Decipher 15, he's starting to get more annoyed and irritated by the noises of the crazies. They're muttering, they're twitching. So he starts thinking of cures, or ways to just kill them, as he believes that's the only way to quote-unquote cure them. In Decipher 16, however, after killing that lone patient, he goes to the church and talks to a priest. He asks the question of whether or not killing someone to save someone is correct and is not gonna send his soul into hell. And the priest says yes, that's fine, but all life is precious. So Sharp leaves and he's very excited and starts to believe that he's doing good for mankind and God. Now, Decipher 17 is probably one of the most confusing deciphers so far. He talks about Batman, that's who he's referencing when he says he brought her in. Her is Ivy, because he talks about green venomous skin. And I wanted to focus on this line. Suffer not to witch, to live. What does this mean? Well, doing some research, it's a Bible verse from the Bible. And by searching up a bit more stuff, it's what that line means is that biblical authority to those who believe in witchcraft and demonic powers. And it's pretty simple. I'm not sure why he would say that, though. He then talks about green wood, and in the line he says, I'm gonna burn green wood, or I'm gonna test if green wood in fact burn. You see, green wood is typically a wood that is not very easy to burn, so it's very confusing as to why he would say this. Searching up some more, it also comes from the Bible, and I'm just gonna read this quote because it's pretty hard to explain. Quote, this metaphor is a warning to the severity of judgment that will come upon those who are spiritually barren if such judgment is upon the innocent Jesus. I have no idea why he would say either of these lines at all. The meanings, well, we at least got the meanings, but I'm not sure how to piece this together. We do know that in the metaphor it's talking about judgment, and Sharp is very judgmental towards Ivy and Croc, so perhaps something bad is going to happen to him after being judgmental. And Decipher 18 is him talking about how he failed and that he let this cancer in Arkham Asylum spread while he's looking at this twitched and crazed inmate. That was confusing, but let's move on. Deciphers 19 through 24.
Curse me for a fool! How could I not see it until now? The monster had a confederate. I hid in the darkness near his cell and saw with my own eyes one of the doctors whispering to him. She looked at him through the transparent barrier with tenderness, with, dare I say, desire. My skin crawled with revulsion as she kissed the glass. Fighting the urge to dash the woman's head through the glass, I let her continue. The damnable clown might have shared secrets with her that would be useful once the mad dog has been executed. I'm sure the woman will reveal what she knows to me. If not willingly, then certainly under electronic persuasion. After that, a lobotomy, I think. Unfortunate for one so young. But her lust has put the reputation of Arkham at stake. Yes, a lobotomy. The very thing. There is no other way to ensure her silence in this regrettable matter. Yet again, I found myself watching him. No one can provide a cure. He laughs in the face of those who try. Amadeus would not have let him live. And neither should I. One last sip of cognac, and I was ready. He watched as I entered the cell. He smiled as I showed him the knife. I told him how I will use it, how I will cleanse this city. And then, terror. I was paralyzed. I struggled. I screamed, but I was silent. The monster looked at me, expressionless. He ran my blade slowly across my forehead. A smile cracked across his horrible porcelain face, and I heard the filth fall from his mouth. He laughed and called me that horrible name. It must have been Crane, another one who doesn't deserve to live. Why do these people thrive on chaos? Joker, in particular, desired anarchy. and since his escape will no doubt wreak it upon my city, I feel this is the end for my diary. Joker will be recaptured. My story will be told. I am not afraid. If Arkham becomes my cell, then I will know I did my best. I will be remembered. I am the spirit of Amadeus Arkham. Even though Amadeus had long since passed, his spirit lived on, surviving, moving through the walls of his asylum. When it chose me, I felt proud. I was honored to continue his work, to cleanse this city. If you are strong-willed enough to follow my tales, you are strong-minded enough to deduce my identity. Come and find me, friend. Together, we will save Gotham. My name is Quincy Sharp, the spirit of Amadeus Arkham. You have done well to decipher my story, and I pray it has helped you on your path. I trust that through my writings, you will do what is right. Please, I implore you, continue my work. This city deserves a savior. Continue my work.
Well, this is the final explanation for the final couple of things. So, Decipher 19, 20, and 21. Basically, he watched Dr. Quinzel slowly become Harley Quinn, from the shadows. And then he watches as Joker laughs at each attempt for someone to cure him, and he gets so fed up with Joker's manipulation and just pure evilness that he grabs a knife, walks into the room, but as he's ready to kill the Joker, he becomes paralyzed, and the Joker taunts him and calls him a horrible name and laughs at him. What is this horrible name? Well, I believe that Warden Quincy Sharp, has been so consumed by his second persona, Amadeus Arkham, that whenever someone refers to him as his actual name, he actually gets frustrated that they aren't calling him Amadeus. And then in Decipher 22, he believes that Crane did it, and he does not think Crane deserves to live, and he questions why Joker and other people thrive off this life. And he's also worried that since Joker's escaped, that it's going to reek into his town, or city, I mean. And in Decipher 23, Sharp says that he's the spirit of Arkham, aka Amadeus Arkham. And that Amadeus Arkham is in the walls of the facility guiding him. And he feels honored that Amadeus chose him to become this and do these tasks and continue his life's work. And then in Decipher 24, a final message to Batman. He congratulates him for finding all the riddles and deciphers and whatnot, and hopes that Batman will do the right thing and continue his work. That was a lot to explain. That's nearly an hour. I want to thank you guys for watching this entire thing. It was hard to get the research for the Chronicles because these are rather the more confusing part for explaining these things. The tapes are just right there blatantly, but these Chronicles are not. You have to do some extensive research. So, yeah, thank you guys. Subscribe, like, do all the YouTube stuff, and I'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.